Thursday night, October the 28th, in the year of our Lord 2021. I want to welcome David Silberg. Dave, are you hearing me? Am I coming through loud and clear? Can you hear me, bud? Dave jumped on a little early, and I wasn't live yet. I didn't start the broadcast, so I'm just waiting to see if we've got connection, if I'm live, if you're hearing me. This is I see my microphone dancing, my icon's dancing. Perfect. David says I'm perfect. He's seeing me live. Although Officer Lennon's having a little difficulty. He says he can't come on for some reason. I'm not really sure, Jerry, why you can't get on, but let's give it a shot. Anyway, welcome to Angie's Angles. Thanks for joining us, Dave. I appreciate it. And we'll start with Dave, a little tidbit that he wanted to let us know that he wanted to get out there is that Bob Melvin is officially off the board, which is fine with me. I didn't want Bob Melvin anyway. Guys, who do I want? Who do I want? Say it with me together. Buck Showalter. That's who I want. Damn it. Bring Buck to New York. Do it. Come on, Cohen. Make it happen. So, Danny's Road to the Show, brought to you by Olio Restaurant, Stamford, Connecticut. Steve Costanzo, chef owner. Go see him. Mention Angie's Angles and get 10% off your dinner. He actually posted a beautiful shot of a pork chop that he made. It looked like it had like mushroom demi-glaze, maybe. Again, I'll repeat this ad nauseum. I don't like mushrooms. That makes me not a fun guy. Get it? But come on now. I wonder if anybody else is going to be joining us tonight except for David. But if it's only David, I'm very happy with that. Glad to have you aboard, Dave. So Danny's Road to the Show. Danny had some baseball this past week. We got a little good news on the finger. The finger seems to be healed to the satisfaction of the orthopedist. He's still got some swelling and some limited mobility in his finger, but give the kid a little credit. He's been playing through it, for sure. I'm liking that he's playing through the pain. He's wearing his glove. I mean, had he been wearing his glove, we wouldn't have had to deal with this anyways. But now he's wearing his glove, and I'm happy that he's been able to go. So I'm not really sure. Mr. Lennon's having some troubles logging on. I don't know why. Jerry, Jerry can't hear me because he's. I'm talking to Jerry. That's funny. Give me 1 second. Try to get Jerry on here. I try to click on, and all it says is live streaming isn't available right now. Really? What's going on with this? I don't know either. Dave, how were you able? Dave, did you hit my link that I sent on Facebook? Let me see. Yeah, that would be the link. Yeah, let me just see something real quick. Everybody say hello to Ruth Buzzy. Hello, everybody. Ruth Buzzy's in the house. Why is it saying this? Live streaming isn't available right now. I don't know where that is. Let me see something else. Let me just try this. YouTube, go to YouTube. Do Angie's Angles. So we're trying to get into here. Live right here. Here we go. There we go. Barbara. Yeah, here. Okay. All right. Bye, Ruth Buzzy. So let me just Jerry. I'm just letting Jerry know all right. Now that's good. Okay, so getting back to Danny's Road to the Show. Sorry for that. We're having major technical difficulties. Yeah, you used my link. Thank you. I don't know why others are not able to do it. Okay, so Jerry sees me. Okay, Jerry seeing me. Thanks. Officer Len, I'm glad you're in the house. I don't know why you can't comment, but I'll take you being in the house and listening. You can comment through my phone. I'll pick up your comments there, Jerry. And maybe we'll have to go back to Facebook unless I can figure this YouTube out. But so Danny's road to the show. He's playing for the East End Aviators, and they're having a good fall season. They have a doubleheader coming up this Saturday and Halloween. I believe the games are 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock. But Danny's going to miss both of them because Danny and Angelo are being confirmed. They're making their confirmation on Sunday. Yeah, a little weird, right? Halloween Sunday, and they're being confirmation. They're not, excuse me, they're not exactly thrilled with it, but it's 10 o'clock in the morning. They'll get confirmed, and they'll have plenty of time to hang out with their friends to go trick or treating. So Danny had also we had the end of the Brookhaven season where he was playing for the Mudcats, and they made it to the championship game, and they lost 3-0. Kind of silly. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate the congrats. Kind of silly. The game was played last week. We got rained out in the sixth inning. I guess it was top of the sixth with 2 outs and man on third. So we played an inning and a third. Now, when we played last week for the championship game last week, Brookhaven only had one umpire. Uh, what was it? Wednesday night, last night, we had two umpires for an inning and a third. So I don't know what's going on with the umpiring, but it's a little bizarro. Um, Jerry, I did not mute you, Jerry. You're able to do whatever you want on my chat. Anything you want. We're gonna have to figure this out for you, buddy boy. Yeah, Barbara says she can't comment either. Right, but you can see me live. Okay, I'm not really sure. We're gonna have to figure this all out. I'll get to the bottom of it, I promise. So Danny, Danny's fall season's coming to an end. Longwood Varsity Baseball just put out their schedule for the spring. Very exciting. We'll have 20 games Longwood Varsity. Again, that is if Danny gets the invite and if Danny makes varsity. Right now, we're hoping that at a minimum we play JV again, and we are shooting for varsity, but that's totally up to the coach and the team and their needs and desires and whatnot. So we'll see how that goes. Today's Danny Road to the Show brought to you by Olio Restaurant. Stamford, Connecticut. Steve Costanzo mentioned that Angie's Angles get 10% off. And Steve, if you watch me, delayed live, I'm coming up to Stamford, Steve-O. I'm coming. So everybody, thank you, Dave. So Dave is telling us below the screen there are 4 parallel lines. To the left of X, click that to turn on the chat. I don't know if that's going to help you people. I'm not seeing it on my screen, Dave, but we'll see what happens if people could figure that out. But thanks, Dave, for trying to give us some input. I'm not sure where Linda is tonight. I sent her the link as well. I'm not sure if she's logging on or has logged on and she's unable to chat as well. This is a little upsetting to me because I do interact with my audience. I love it. That's what gets me going. But in the meantime, hope you can hear me and listen to my content. So the World Series is underway, and I missed out on one of the teams. I predicted Boston Red Sox Atlanta Brave World Series, and Boston failed to make it. Houston Astros came back and beat the Red Sox. I am now rooting for the Atlanta Braves. My buddy Kevin Carden down in Georgia, big Brave fan, Seminole fan as well. Kevin, we're rooting for Kev and his team to win because I don't like the cheating Astros, and I don't like the American League. And if it's going to have to be our division, then so be it. I wish the Atlanta Braves. Hello, oh, Ruth Buzzy's back. I'm told you have to subscribe to the YouTube app, and then get the YouTube app, and then subscribe to your channel. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank you very much. So let me just tell Jerry. So subscribe to my channel. To my channel. All right, so here we are. We're back. I'm sorry about that. We're getting a little updates on how to do this. I promise to get it worked out, and we'll get it all. Even if I have to do a YouTube tutorial on doing it. That's funny, right? So we got the Boston, the Boston. We got the Atlanta Braves and the Houston Astros playing. They've exchanged offensive juggernauts. The Braves taking the first game. What was it, 6-2? And the Astros winning last night. Kudos to Charlie Morton taking a grounder, a line drive, hard ground ball off his, what was it, his fibula? Fibula? I don't know, the bone that's connected to your shin bone. Oh God, that's funny. I think it's called the fibula. Um, and he broke his fibula. He fractured his fibula. Yes, I am correct about the fibula. He fractured it. Yes, thanks, Dave. Yeah, Barbara, thank you. So Barb's telling us, I guess on the phone, you need to use the YouTube app. So download the app on your phone. You shouldn't have, you shouldn't have to do it on your computer, but then you have to subscribe to my channel. I'm being told. So that's how we're gonna do this. I'm gonna write that down, send that out to on Facebook for next week's. Yeah, Dave, thanks. It was the fibula. So Charlie Morton, right, pitching a gem, takes a hard grab, but and then the guy pitches three more outs with a broken fibula. And then he had to come out. He couldn't take the pain no more. It's incredible. Just immense courage to get that done. Um, Kurt Schilling, the bloody sock game, right? So these athletes are something else. They put the pain out of their minds when the game's on the line, and I tip my hat to them. A lot of respect. So we got a good series. I think. Yeah, he was still pitching 96 mile per hour after the break. Well, it was his landing foot, so it didn't affect the push off the mound. But I tell you, I don't know. Maybe I would have gotten some duct tape and gutted it out, perhaps. I don't know, Dave. I've been known to do some stupid things in my life, so we'll see. I played baseball back in the day in the senior men's league, and I had a grade 3 separated clavicle on my throwing shoulder, and it's like a 6 month recovery. So I asked the doctor, I go, Doc, could I do anything any more damage to it? He says, absolutely not. You ripped and shredded all your tendons and ligaments in your shoulder. There's nothing left. And there was no surgery. He says, we're not going to, it's too risky to go and do surgery. Your bone will just float. It'll eventually settle and whatnot. I go, so, could I do push-ups? He goes, well, you'd be crazy to do push-ups. It's going to hurt like hell. I go, I don't mind the pain, but I just got to get back to the ball. I was back on the ball field 1 month to the day of separated my clavicle, grade 3 separated clavicle, shredded everything. Now, I couldn't throw. I had to I had to go like this. So they knew to come out to get, but I could catch the hell out of the ball. I had no problem catching the ball. I just couldn't throw. And I could hit as long as I didn't miss the ball. If I missed the ball and did a complete swing, I was in tears. The pain was intense. But if I made contact, I had no issues at all. So I was back on the field 1 month after separating my clavicle. I'm a nut. I'm not normal. I realize that. But that's just me. So we got the game going on. No baseball tonight. It's travel day, so they'll be playing tomorrow night. They're in Atlanta, and they got 3 games in Atlanta. So technically, if they sweep, they could win at home, which would be really, really, really good. Now let's talk about this for a little bit. Here we had Major League Baseball pulling the All-Star game from Atlanta, Georgia, from the citizens of Atlanta, Georgia, to put it in Colorado, where there was no history because we were honoring Hank Aaron. So Colorado wasn't a team back when Hank Aaron was playing. You were having the All-Star game in Atlanta, Georgia, the home of Hammer and Hank Aaron. But let's pull the All-Star game out of Georgia because you feel that Major League Baseball felt that the legislature of Georgia um, made it harder for minorities to vote in Georgia. And I've covered this ad nauseum many times. It's not true. You can do your own vetting. You can figure it out yourself. Um, but the fact now that the World Series, the biggest game of the year, everybody's focused on Atlanta, Georgia. They can't move it to Colorado. No, you can't. You got to play those games in Georgia. So it's nice that the Atlanta, Georgia is having the economic boon that a World Series brings. They could have had a double whammy. They could have had the All Star game and the World Series, and gotten those folks who 90% of the businesses in Atlanta, Georgia, around the stadium are minority owned. So who you hurting by taking that out of the game. So just keep that in mind. So I'm very pleased. I'm very happy to see Atlanta, Georgia being showcased on national television globally around the world. And Major League Baseball could go stick it in that pipe and smoke it. So as much as I could broadcast that the World Series happened in Atlanta, Georgia, I'll be happy. I'll say it ad nauseum if I have to. Uh Brings us to the next thing, I guess. Let's get off baseball a little bit. We've got some what is it, November 2nd, election day coming up. First Tuesday in first Tuesday in November. Now, back in the day, I think it was 8th grade. I think, and I'm pretty sure it was Mrs. Schwartz. I know it was Mrs. Schwartz was our social studies teacher, and we're going over election day and when it falls and whatever. And I thought I came up with the greatest question ever. She kept enforcing and reinforcing that election day is the first Tuesday in November. So I had my hand up, I had my hand up, I had my hand up. And I go, what happens if the first Tuesday is a Thursday? And in my mind, I don't know what I was thinking. In my mind, I might have been eating mushrooms back in that day. In my mind, I was like, it made a lot of sense, right? What if the first Tuesday is a Thursday? But apparently it doesn't make sense. Anyway, election day's coming up. We've got a close race in Virginia, and that's going to be dictating how I think the midterms go um, in another year, right? 2022 is the midterms, um, right? 2022. So we have the mayor race in New York City with Adams and Curtis Lewa going at it. We've got the gubernatorial race in Virginia going on with oh boy, McAuliffe and Youngkin, I think is his name. And so the Republican challenge in Virginia, he came back from like a five point deficit, and now the papers and the polls have him as an 8 point favorite. Now I don't like getting on these polls. We saw what it did with President Trump's initial run against Hillary Clinton. Every poll and their grandmother had him dead last, not even registering on some of the polls, et cetera, et cetera. And what happened? He had an upset and he beat Hillary. And then the polls had him beating Biden. And then what happens? Biden wins. So polls are not my cup of tea. I don't put a lot of faith or stock in them. Um, but I think this Youngkin guy down in Virginia, if he pulls this off, it's a purple state. Uh, they've been trending Democratic lately, but if he pulls this off, I think the midterms are going to be a slam dunk because that's going to give everybody a lot of energy. It's going to give the Republican Party a lot of energy. It's going to make the Democrats backpedal. Um, Probably, you know, roll out some more crazy stuff for us to see. I mean, can anybody explain? I covered this. I think I started trying to cover this last week when I lost my audio. How these undocumented immigrants that are coming, Kevin Cardin, I am interstatal, baby. I just gave a little recap on the Braves and the World Series being showcased in Atlanta, Georgia, despite MLB and Rob Manfredo pulling the All-Star game that honored Hammer and Hank Aaron and put it in Colorado. This guy did not watch the All-Star game, FYI, because of that move. I thought it was ridiculous, nonsensical. You hurt the fine people of Atlanta, Georgia. Minority-based businesses around the ballpark all suffered an economic letdown by pulling the All-Star game. But no problem, Kev. Sweet revenge, 1,000%. I had said that. I said that. Too bad that All-Star game was pulled. Otherwise, you guys would have had a double economic boon to your town, and it was much needed. Um, but it's over. It's done with. I've said my piece on it. My podcast is still live. That you could go and watch it. Um, that was on April 2nd, my emergency broadcast when MLB was announcing they're pulling the All-Star game. Complete stupidity. So we're back. We're on a little politic roll now, Kev. I'm talking about the gubernatorial race down in Virginia and Youngkin against McAuliffe, and how Youngkin has overcome the deficit that he was at, and he's leading the polls now. He's got a 5-point lead at the moment with what today's Thursday and the election day is Tuesday. So if Virginia could pull off this upset and put a Republican in as a governor, the midterms in 2022 are going to be a slam dunk for the Republicans, in my opinion. So let's get back to Biden and the vaccine mandate and the vax card and this and that and that and this. I need somebody to explain this to me. I need somebody to explain this to me. How you're shipping in illegal, undocumented immigrants to America in the dead of night. The fact that you have to do it in the dead of night, the fact that you have to load them on planes and drop them in Syosset, Long Island, in McAllen, Texas, the fact that you have to plant these folks in our neighborhoods and not require them. There is no mandate for them to be vaccinated. Yet you're telling me, Angelo M. Gagliano Sr., that if I want to eat indoors in a restaurant in New York City, I must be vaccinated. Yet if an undocumented illegal immigrant wants to go and eat that restaurant, they're not required to be vaccinated. They're not required. I have to be vaxxed, but they don't. I don't understand this. I don't understand how we're doing this, how this is even allowable. This whole infrastructure bill that they're trying to push through, they thought they were going to have a vote for it tonight. It did not happen. They're anticipating a vote next week. Manchin is holding out from West Virginia. God bless him. There's rumors that he's going to leave the Democratic Party and come over to the Republican side. Why not? We'll take him. I got no problem with that. West Virginia is a Republican state, and to represent his people right, he's got to do what they want him to do, and I give him credit for standing up to his convictions. So at day 53 mark, we got 7 minutes left on Angie's Angles tonight. Um, we're gonna be following this gubernatorial race down in Virginia. We'll have the results obviously on Thursday because they should be in by that time, unless there are hanging chads, unless there are votes that appear at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you all know where I stand on that. So I'm not really sure what our political outlook's going to look like down in Virginia. I've got some family and friends down there that are rooting for an upset. The school board down in Virginia, there's a couple of school boards that are just absolutely calling parents domestic terrorists. I mean, this world is going upside down, and I'm not really sure why. I mean, my ancestors, my grandparents, my direct grandparents, not even their parents, but my grandparents on my dad's side, Angela and Margarita, came over through Ellis Island. They came over the right way. They got documented through Ellis Island. They landed in America. They got placed. I believe they started living in Manhattan at first, and then they wound up in Inwood, Long Island, and then East Rockaway they settled, and that's where they both passed. East Rockaway, Long Island. But that's the right way to do things. Now, America is built on immigrants, and immigration is very important to our survival. And I don't deny or cast aspersion on anybody trying to get into the greatest country in the world, the United States of America. No matter how messed up we get, we are still the greatest country in America, in the world. I apologize. America is the greatest country in the world. Uh, you could literally have your dreams come true here, more so than anywhere else. And I don't blame people for trying to come here, but it needs to be done the right way. Um, Jerry just gave me a message. Let me read Jerry's message as we're doing here. He wants to know. Jerry wants to know my thoughts on Biden. The Biden administration wanted to pay each person that's been separated at the border $450,000. So families are being separated, I guess, at the border. We've gone through this, and Biden's administration is talking about paying each person that gets separated at the border $450,000. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm gonna vet that. I'm gonna research that a little bit more, and we'll report back to it next week on Angie's Angles. We are at the 8:56 mark. So we have a new format that we do. It's obscure baseball rules. This portion of Angie's Angles brought to you by Smoke Therapy, located 215 Ronkonkoma Avenue, Ronkonkoma, Long Island. Go see Mike and Lonnie. Mention Angie's Angles, get 10% off your cigar. Yeah, Kev, I'm gonna vet it, and if it is true, is absolutely nonsensical, ridiculous, beyond any adjective I could throw to. I'm a little dumbfounded, but I caught a little snippet of it earlier, and I need here on Angie's Angles, we just don't throw things out there. We try to vet it, and I try to do my due diligence. And if you watch my April 2nd podcast, you'll know. Yeah, right, Dave. Me too. You'll know that I really researched all my information. So we're not just shooting from the hip. We're not shooting for the lip. We try to vet everything. So I'm going to vet this out and get to the bottom of it. So catches interference. Everybody knows what catches interference is, and if you don't, I'm going to explain it. So the batter is up at the plate, yeah, and the ball is pitched, and the batter starts to swing, and as the batter swings, the catcher might stick out his glove a little deep into the hitting zone, and the offensive batter makes contact with the catcher's glove. That is catcher's interference. It's an automatic award to first base. But even I didn't know this. So let's say I'm up at the plate, right? I got the big muscles. Look at those guns, right? Look at those guns right there. And I take my mighty swing, and as I'm coming through the plate, I hit the glove, but my back continues. I hit the ball and I hit over the fence for a home run. My manager of the offensive team, can tell the umpire upon completion of that play that we want to take the home run over being awarded first base. So I didn't know that. I always thought the ball's dead, catches interference, ball is dead, go to first. Obscure rule says no. If the play is greater than just the first base award, your manager must request to have that other play become valid. So interesting rule right there. I'm going to be dropping a couple more as the weeks go on. I'll find a couple obscure rules and we'll have a conversation about it. I'm really sorry about this chat thing. I guess I'm going to either have to see if I could get back onto Facebook and fix that problem, or get this all set up. We are at the 8:59 mark. I want to thank David, Barbara, Kevin. I appreciate Jerry's listening and he's commenting on my phone, so I'm able to follow along there with no problems. This is Angie's Angles signing off for this Thursday. Join us next week, Thursday, 8:30, format to be determined. Good night. God bless. I love you.